Welcome! Do you love iconic movies and guns? Ever wanted to see them up close and get the real story? Then you're in the right place. Stick around. This channel was made for you.
Hello and welcome to Hollywood Guns. I'm your host Wilson. Whether you're into action flicks, classic thrillers, or unforgettable TV shows, this is the place where movie magic meets real-world firearms.
If you've been watching Hollywood Guns for a while, you've been requesting and waiting for this episode. Today, we are covering one of the most iconic movie guns of all time. As usual, I'll cover the accuracy of the gun's portrayal in the movie compared to real-life capabilities, and finish up the video with an extended selection of my favorite scenes from other movies that the gun has appeared in over the decades. First though, I'm handing over the reins to another presenter and another Brit no less, because let's be honest, Britain is where the legend of this submachine gun began. Please welcome Jonathan Ferguson, keeper of firearms and artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum and YouTube channel. He's going to cover the history of the MP5, the difference between a real HK MP5 and the modified civilian version that the studio armourers had to use, and finally, the live TV moment on May the 5th, 1980, where the SAS made it famous. Take it away, please, Jonathan. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the story of the HK MP5 from the Christmas movie, Die Hard.
Oh, the weather outside is frightful. Dum-da-dum, delightful.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
A security guard we missed?
Usually tied up policemen growing fat on a pension. No, this is something else.
Hi everyone, Jonathan Ferguson, keeper of firearms and artillery here at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK. Wilson's kindly invited me to talk briefly about the MP5. Some of you will know some of this, but in 1966 the very first example is produced. It's a world-beating design, but not right away. It takes a while for some momentum to build. It's the definitive submachine gun for many, including me. Very accurate, firing from a closed bolt, unlike the clattering forward of an open bolt gun, like even a really good one like the British Sterling. The MP5 is much better than that. Excellent set of iron sights on there, and from the late 60s onwards there is the ability to mount for an optical sight, although typically in the movies we see them without early on. Later on they do show up with them, of course. So we have the fixed stock version, of course, which we'll see in a moment, and the telescoping stock, which we'll also see in a moment. The colour changes from grey to black, the magazines go from straight to curved, slightly more reliable, and the fore end goes from a slimline checkered design to the wide one that we sort of know and love from later on. Modern ones, of course, are upgraded with rails and things, but they don't look as cool, quite frankly. Talking Die Hard, but also Predator and other movies that feature this, they could not get hold of bona fide MP5s at this point in the 1980s in Hollywood. What they could get hold of was Heckler Koch's civilian semi-automatic 16-inch barrel version, the HK94. Now, this one is not marked HK94. You can spot them, well, firstly the great long barrel, sometimes with this sort of heat shield. This has the vertical pistol grip. Sometimes they're just bare barrels. This one has the fixed stock, and I put a short magazine on there. It's not actually essential. Of course, you can put a 30 round on there if you want to, but we can see there that we don't have a paddle magazine release. We can't come in and grab this, and we see that in Die Hard with the terrorist on the table who's doing a mag change. He has to reach up and press the second magazine catch. For some reason, HK designed it with both, and also for some reason to do with, I believe, making the lower receiver not so easy to replace with an automatic one, or maybe just to nerf mag changes. Not entirely clear on that, but there's no paddle release. That's a way to spot a converted HK94, because that's what they did. Stembridge Gun Rentals had a number of these things converted. So that's one of the things that didn't get fixed as it were. So you will see the occasional awkward mag change. The lower receiver, the trigger housing, being made of sheet steel is a dead giveaway. No MP5 ever had this lower receiver, except for ones that have been made since, as it were. And if it's not fully automatic, it's not technically an MP5. Semi-automatic only is obvious from the selector switch, only goes to the 2 positions. That had to be changed, of course. They converted them mechanically to fire automatically, as we see in the movie. The barrel was dealt with by removing this, if they came with these, and just chopping the barrel down, recrowning it at the end for appearance's sake. And we end up with something approximating a real MP5 muzzle, but it does not have the tri-lug design. That you can always spot one of these 1980s Hollywood MP5s, HK 94s, because it's just a plain diameter bit of muzzle sticking out of the right length. And then there's the correct period. There are 2 different polymer lowers, but this is the one that would have been, if they'd got hold of MP5s for Die Hard, it would have looked like this. SEF, the German for safe, single shot and automatic. I have attempted the German in the past, I'm not going to today. This one happens to have been assembled at Enfield, so it's an EN MP5. That's right, there are British MP5s, although the components were all supplied from Obendorf. And the paddle release, of course, is present and correct on this one, which means a little bit easier to do the classic HK slap with it, although you're perfectly able to do it, as we saw in the movie, with the HK 94.
You are done. No more table. Where are you going, pal? Next time you have a chance to kill someone, don't hesitate. Thanks for the advice.
Sorry to waste your time. No problem at all. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you.
So that's an MP5A3, just says MP5 on the top. They don't specify the model typically. With, of course, the 30-round magazine. With, of course, the sliding buttstock that's used to such great effect in the elevator shaft scene, using the MP5 sling, and John hangs off it, and it's kind of precarious. Such a great scene, and he couldn't have done it without this particular, well, he could have done it with a different folding or sliding stock, I guess, but somehow it works really well. Looks like it can sort of hold, but it might not. And over time, these things can develop a bit of a droop from wear. They still work. And these things are properly maintained, very, very reliable, accurate, especially accurate on automatic fire, as the SAS discovered in the 70s, late 70s when they first acquire them, and they land on the world stage, some of them at least, looking like this. At Prince's Gate, the Iranian embassy in London, the SAS are deployed, the counter-revolutionary warfare wing in their black kit with these iconic submachine guns. And this is an original UK Special Forces streamlight flashlight, or torch if you prefer, in a custom housing on an HK claw mount. And these early ones, this is the SL20 model, by the way. These early ones didn't have a remote switch. They just switched them on and off up here. And they weren't just for illuminating dark rooms, they were for aiming. It would roughly, well, at close range, it would shoot where the beam of light, well, to the center of the beam of light. So they're firing from pretty much the center chest position with the stocks slid shut. And they had MP5 SDs. This was the best marketing video that H&K could have hoped for. I think it's still selling, along with Die Hard and Predator and other movies, it's selling MP5s to this day.
Welcome to the Intermission. I just want to thank Bear Arms, who have provided the MP5s that you're looking at right now for this video. And while you take a look at them, I want to quickly thank a couple of sponsors of this video who make it possible for me to keep producing content. You probably know that since the channel doesn't earn traditional advertising revenue, because movie and TV studios don't want me to monetize these videos, your support of my partners is the reason that I can keep making these videos and cover the expenses. First off, Sonora Desert Institute. SDI offers top-notch online firearms education, including a course on hammer-fired pistols like the Beretta 92, which you see in Die Hard. If you're interested in a career as a gunsmith, shooting sports management, or want to learn about the rapidly expanding opportunities in commercial drones, please use the link in the description and pinned comment where you can ask SDI to send you more information. Guns International. If you're a collector like me, finding the right firearm takes time, patience, and dedication. Personally, I love browsing gun shows and especially visiting my local gun stores in person. The challenge, however, is that you're limited to dealers within driving distance of your home. That's why I'm proud to have the support of Guns International, the nation's largest online classified listing site for firearms. It connects you with local gun stores across the country, allowing you to find inventory, compare prices, talk to great people, and negotiate the best deals. Back to the video. Accuracy of firearms portrayal of the MP5. John McClane uses 3 MP5s over the course of Die Hard, all taken from the terrorists in Nakatomi Plaza. The first MP5 comes from Tony, Carl's brother, who dies after their brutal fight and tumble down the stairs. John searches Tony's bag and finds 2 full magazines. That's 60 rounds. He eventually loses this MP5 after using it as an anchor in the ventilation shaft scene. The second MP5 is picked up during the iconic table shootout. John kills a terrorist who has just completed a mag change, so we can reasonably assume that this new MP5 came with at least 1 full mag. Side note, it's been widely reported that Bruce Willis suffered permanent hearing damage during filming this scene due to firing the Beretta 92 so close to his own face. This gun is later emptied during the office shootout with Carl and the crew. The third MP5 appears near the end of the film. John fires it wildly into the air, not at his enemies, but to drive hostages off the rooftop moments before the explosives detonate. Right after, we see him check the magazine. It's empty. He also checks his Beretta 92, realizing that he has only 2 rounds left on his person, setting up the movie's iconic 2-shot finale. Firearm capacity. Did they reload when they should have? A 30-round MP5 magazine lasts about 2 seconds on full auto, or 6 to 10 short bursts if fired properly. The third MP5. No issues. John gets 1 mag and he empties it into the air. Later he also confirms it's empty. The first MP5, also solid. He uses short bursts from the first magazine during the rooftop shootout, performs a magazine change, then empties the second into the door to escape into the ventilation system. That's pretty realistic use of 60 rounds across 2 engagements. It's the second MP5 where Die Hard breaks the rules. In the scene where Hans tricks John into handing over his Beretta, which turns out to be empty, Carl's crew burst in through the elevator and a firefight erupts. John lays down a long stream of fire as he runs and continues firing through the office area with no visible reload. Take a look for yourself. It's hard to count the exact number of rounds fired. We hear more than we see, but a rough estimate puts it somewhere between 50 and probably 100 rounds just from 1 mag. So sorry everyone, such high overuse of magazine capacity has to pretty much be an automatic grade F.
Oh Christ, he can fuck this whole thing up. What does he think he's doing?
His job.
Bullshit.
Caliber capability. Did the 9mm behave realistically? Surprisingly, yes. Most of McClane's confirmed kills come from hand-to-hand combat, for example Tony and Carl, or his Beretta 92. For all the 9mm rounds fired through the MP5, very few hit the mark. I guess that realistically most of them function as suppressive fire. That said, there are 2 clear MP5 kills. 1, a terrorist gunned down exiting an elevator. 2, another torn down at the legs by a burst of fire. Gruesome? Yes. Believable? Also yes. Grade A.
Welcome to the party, pal!
Actor and character accuracy. Could he make the shots? Only 2 kills from well over 100 rounds fired across 3 MP5s. It's not a great hit rate, but honestly, it kind of tracks. McClane's a New York cop, he's not a military operator, and it kind of makes sense that he'd be far more proficient with his Beretta sidearm than with a German submachine gun. Let's not kick him while he's barefoot and bloody. Another grade A.
Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker.
Final verdict? If only we had just been shown a couple of extra reloads, my bias and love for this movie and the MP5, I probably could have sold this one to you. Unfortunately, overall grade for MP5 realism, grade C.
Attention, whoever you are, this channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
No fucking shit, lady! Do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
Other movies featuring the MP5. When I asked viewers for recommendations, two British picks stood out. First, The Final Option from 1982 was inspired by the real-life Operation Nimrod. It stars the late Lewis Collins, best known as Bodie from The Professionals. He was a household name in the UK and at one point even auditioned for James Bond, though reportedly was turned down for being far too aggressive. Fun fact, while filming The Professionals, Collins joined the British Territorial Army and he actually passed SAS selection but was rejected due to his celebrity status. The second recommendation is 6 Days from 2017, a dramatization of Operation Nimrod. Like many based on true events films, reviews were mixed, similar to the feedback I got from my Zero Dark 30 episode. That said, I thought it did a solid job of recreating the SAS tactics, kit, and atmosphere of 1980. As you can see as we scroll through IMFDB, the MP5 shows up in dozens of films, especially during the 1980s through to the early 2000s. It became the go-to SMG for action movies during the era. If a few movies you're thinking of aren't showing up in the MP5 section, cast your mind back to Jonathan's analysis of the HK MP5. During the 80s and 90s, it was tough for armorers to get real MP5s, so many productions used modified civilian HK MP5s instead. Let's switch over to that model on IMFDB and take a look. First up, Arnold Schwarzenegger. In Raw Deal, there's a great gear-up sequence where he grabs the long-barreled HK MP5 Jonathan showed us earlier for the final battle. A year later, he uses the same configuration in The Running Man's final assault.
And who loves you? And who do you love? Yes! 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 Yes!
It's showtime. Hello, cutie pie. One of us is in deep trouble.
The MP5 also pops up in the Lethal Weapon series, but my favourite is the scene where Riggs chases Mr. Joshua and has a running battle in the streets of LA. Just as modern militaries have moved away from the MP5 for CQB due to the need for armor-defeating calibers, Hollywood has also followed suit. But once in a while, when a scene demands something visually iconic, the old warhorse is rolled back in. I've got 2 more appearances coming up and both are personal favourites, but stick around to the very end of the video because I'm saving my top modern MP5 moment for last. Let's jump into the modern era. You've seen it before on this channel, but I don't think it gets enough love. Hitman from 2007. Long before John Wick, Taken, or The Equalizer, Hitman gave us the lone good guy walks into the lion's den sequence. This time, he's dual-wielding MP5s with style and panache. And that's almost a wrap. Please just stay with me for a minute and we'll end the video with my personal favorite modern MP5 appearance. Once again, a big thanks to all the people that made this video possible. Jonathan Ferguson and the Royal Armouries Museum, Bear Arms Reference Collection in Scottsdale, Arizona, STI, and Guns International. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a few seconds to check you are subscribed, hit the like button and turn on the bell icon so that YouTube serves you up future episodes, because I launch them weekly. Please check out my other videos and don't forget to let me know in the comments what films and firearms you'd like to see me feature on the channel. And without further ado, my favorite modern MP5 appearance is a movie that I promise is coming up again very soon on the channel. Perhaps the best character Benicio del Toro has played, the dark, brooding and ruthless hitman Alejandro in a modern classic. Here is the border crossing scene from Sicario.
Bring your window down.
We must be engaged to engage.
Wait. Get out of the car. Kumite! Don't move! Kumite! No! Compas. Suelte la pistola. Tírela. ¿Ah? Pregunta, paisano. ¿Quieren morir?
What the fuck are we doing?
Lane clear! Don't look at me! Put your hands on your head! Go!
This is going to be on the front page of every newspaper in America.
No, it won't. They won't even make the papers in El Paso.